It is Tuesday, October 31st, 2023. This is another World Series and Halloween edition of Baseball Today, presented to you by our friends over at SeatGeek. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. Producer Dan is along for the ride as well. And yes, we want you to save money. Save 10% on your next order at SeatGeek. All you have to do is use the word John Boy Postseason, all caps, all one word, even though it's Halloween. That is not a scary word. It's a friendly word. So whether you're a returning customer or a first-time downloader of the SeatGeek app on your phone, go use it today for your next World Series ticket, your NFL game, college football, NBA, NHL. If you're a concert goer, go save that 10% off. Happy Halloween, buddy.
Happy Halloween to you as well. See, Rosie, I actually had a little Halloween scare yesterday.
Ooh.
Or something frightening happened. How about that?
Okay, what?
I asked Amber Sabathia to be my agent. She said no. It's tough. It's tough for a kid like me. Yeah, she's like, I don't really do that, basically. I went through my friend Ollie. I didn't actually talk to Amber, though I would like to have a talk with her. She basically says, I don't know how to do that. And Ollie basically told me the same thing. So I'm in the market.
Well, then okay. Now, for people that sit there and say, well, why did she do that? She probably deals with players, correct?
She's like,
okay, so
I'm just getting my feet wet in the player business.
Yes. Yeah. Then that's fair. She doesn't want to misguide you. So she gave me
some names. We're going to be okay. But, I have my heart set on her and Ollie.
Yeah. Well, that was very nice. It's okay, though. Amber, it's probably a smart move. Good.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm kidding.
Built in. I already did everything.
Before we get going to Game 3 of the World Series and breaking it down, a special tip of the cap to the one and only captain of the New York Yankees, Aaron Judge, the recipient of the Roberto Clemente Award for 2023. I know that you have friends that have won this award. I, too, have friends that have I hate saying won. I like to say the recipient of the honor, because to me, winning something means that, like, you're going after it. This is something that all these wonderful guys who are baseball players who embrace their community and do such good work away from the diamond, they all do it not because they want to be named the recipient of the Roberto Clemente Award. They do it because they want to make a difference. And getting this honor is and it is truly an honor. I'm telling you, I have worked with guys who have won MVPs, whether it's in this sport or in the NFL, where they ended up being named the recipient of the Walter Payton Man of the Year, which is the equivalent of the Clemente Award. And they say it's a bigger deal than winning the MVP. It just is.
I will echo that sentiment. And by the way, that's a badass trophy.
It is great. It is really cool.
Awesome. That's a piece of art right there. No, congratulations to Aaron Judge. I love this because, I've heard of, some work that he's done off the field, but a lot of his stuff is like almost behind the scenes. And I kind of appreciate that a little bit more. It's okay to bring, awareness to your cause, but I think a lot of times, when you're doing stuff like that and it's just because you want to do it, it kind of means a little bit more. So Aaron Judge, again, this guy's done everything the right way.
There has.
It's nuts.
Yeah. And Yankees fans, you can be happy and prideful when he hits 62 homers in a season. Talk about this part of his career as well when you speak well of him. All right, let's get to the series. Texas grabs a 2-1 series lead thanks to a 3-1 win in Arizona. They propel a 3-run third, and that was enough thanks to an amazing bullpen performance.
Corey Seager smashes the ball down the line. Goodbye! 3-0 Texas. The 1-2 from Leclerc. Finishes off a 1-2-3 ninth. And what a Texas turnaround here in Game 3. From losing 9-1 in Game 2 to winning 3-1 and retaking the lead in the series.
We're a deep group. I think, one guy goes down, we still have John Gray, Heaney, Dunning, Perez, guys who can step up if somebody goes down or has a tough start. And then we have the big boys on the back end too. So our pitching's in a good spot right now. I think it's up to us to put up runs just so we could do well for those guys.
Those are the words of Marcus Semien, who started to get, I'm not going to say hot, but at least did part of his job last night. In the batter's box. I think the MVP of the night was obviously John Gray, who came on for the injured Max Scherzer. 3 more scoreless innings. I would even venture to say that at this point, it's either Seager or John Gray who's the MVP of the series because Gray kept them in it in game one with almost 2 scoreless innings. So he's gone 4 2/3, 7 strikeouts, no walks, 2 hits allowed.
That's fair. I dig that. I haven't even really thought about MVPs yet, this kind of early into the series, but that makes sense. Yeah, it was an incredible job by him coming in on short notice and then just kind of mowing down that D-backs lineup.
Mm-hmm.
A great game, and it's Texas has kind of lived and died by the home run in the postseason, and it happened again yesterday. I was happy for Marcus to get that knock, a little jam. Sometimes all you need is a little jam shot to get going, see Rosie. So he gets that RBI, puts him ahead. Seager does it, and they're right. That Rangers bullpen between Scherzer and Gray gave Boch enough length to go to his guys. Chapman got a little squirrely there at the end, like he kind of always does, but then he pulls the rabbit out of the hat with a nasty curveball, and the rest is history. Leclerc, who has a baby face, and he just reminded me right there, people, of Zach Esposito, editor extreme for our company. They both have this baby face, and whenever I look at him, I'm like, dude, how are you just dominating the World Series right now? But he is.
That's pretty good. I love that call on that one. Texas somehow has won 9 straight road games in a single postseason, which is a record. It really is incredible. I mean, think of some of the places they played. Tampa, I get it, the fan base, whatever. But still, that was a damn good team. Then they go into Baltimore and win 2 in a row with those crazed fans. Then they take care of Houston, which they've had their problems. But, man, it's just bizarre. 9 straight wins. Damn, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's been a lot of that, like in recent postseasons, a lot of road victories, which is, that is interesting because there is something to going and playing on the road, and they don't care about it, apparently.
Nope.
I don't know if they just like hitting in other parks or what it is, but they're getting the job done.
Would you stop pitching to Corey Seager?
With Adolis out?
Makes it way
easier.
Yeah,
I mean, look, do the Diamondbacks want to have a better chance to win the series? I would say the answer is yes to that. So that's what you have to do. And it's not in every single circumstance because, they're going to put most likely, well, it depends, man. Depends who they start tonight. It could be Grossman behind them to start and then Evan Carter at the end of the game. Yeah, if they start Manaply, Grossman's probably going to start.
Well, okay. Then here's a little bit of a thought process, and I kind of want to save it for, we do have a question about Adolis, so I'm going to save the thought process. But here's the deal. Seager leads baseball with the most first pitch homers. Okay. He is a true ambush guy, and that's what he does. Why the hell wouldn't you throw him a spinner in the dirt to start out the at-bat?
Because then you're behind 1-0. I mean, you want to throw good pitches still. Look, you're either going to pitch the guy or you're not going to pitch the guy. So I think there are certain circumstances where you can pitch to him. I think base is clear, pitch to him, and just try to get him to chase and do what you have to do. Definitely try to avoid a first pitch, middle pitch, because that's what he's going to look for. But then there are certain circumstances, like depending on the score and the runners on base, that you 100%. If Adolis is out of this lineup, which he probably is going to be, you can't let Corey Seager beat you. You got to let some of these other guys. You got to let a 21-year-old beat you. You got to let a Nate Lowe beat you. So, like, somebody else has to beat you other than Corey Seager.
I think it's a no-brainer. Even if Adolis, let's say Adolis was there. Now what do you do?
If he's 100%, the fact that he's banged up makes me say I'm going to pitch to Adolis.
What if he wasn't? Has Arizona been making mistakes or just mistake pitches?
I don't think so. I think they've handled him well. I mean, I know he's going to get his. He's a good hitter. I mean, you can't just pitch around some guy when you have Adolis right behind them. I mean, you can't.
By the way, I thought Seager's biggest moment last night was the ground ball double play that he made
Marte
to wrap up the 8th inning. Right? I mean, Chapman was already in deep trouble. He gave up a run, and then I forget if somebody got a knock. Somebody got a knock, though, I think. Was it a knock or a walk? And then it struck out Carroll, that was a sweet pitch he threw. Locked him up. And then Marte, right, if that's a foot to Seager's left, then he got first and second, and all of a sudden they're in business with Moreno up.
Yeah, it was Perdomo gets the knock to score Rivera, who pinch hit for Pavin Smith, who pinch hit, and then they made the pitching change. But so you had a runner there on first base.
Mm-hmm.
Corbin Carroll strikes out. Cattell Marte grounds into a double play, and it was a great play. It wasn't an easy, sure thing double play. Yeah, he made a great play.
Yeah, and then a quick turn by Simeon. That was really good. One thing that happened in the game, Alfonso Marquez was behind home plate, and depending on which umpiring site you like to check out on social media, there were varying degrees of how bad he was. Certainly the biggest call that he made was against Moreno in the ninth inning to lead off the ninth, a 3-1 pitch that looked several inches outside. Torey Lovullo was asked about it afterward. He said, first of all, really, you're trying to get me in trouble here. And then he did expound a little bit on the situation.
I know that if they were off the plate and there were missed calls, they got to tighten it up. Just this the same as I'd say that to everybody. But yeah, there were some calls that didn't go our way today. Was that the difference in the game? I don't know. I don't think so. They took advantage of it. Let's put it that way. If they were missed calls, they took advantage of it and won the baseball game the way they needed to.
How much of an impact did the calls have on last night's game?
I think there were a lot of different calls. I mean, I know the 3-1 pitch is going to stick out with people, but I believe it was the 1-0 pitch in the same at bat was called a ball when it was a strike. So it's like, they're do they even out? I don't know. It depends on who you ask, right? Like the team that loses the game, they probably don't think they even out. But as long as there's humans umpiring, we're going to have some human error. And you just, as a player, you can't let that enter your mind. You can be upset about it. You understand, you go back, you have to speak your mind. Sometimes you can go tell those guys, hey, you missed the call. You can't miss that call. You got to be better. But it's baseball. It's part of the game. It still is part of the game. And you can't let that affect, you going forward. You have to have the shortest of memories with umpires because there's nothing you can do about it. So, I mean, did it affect the game? Of course. But it affects every single game.
Once again, it's all dependent on which social media site you like to visit. The umpire scorecard had him as a 94% success rate last night, but slightly in favor of Texas by 0.62. Umpire auditor said that Marquez ranked 77th out of 92 umpires this year when accurately calling balls and strikes, and last night had less than a 90% accuracy issue. So obviously there's some accuracy issues in between these two social media channels. I don't know. If he is 77th out of 92, that sounds horrible for a guy who's working one of the most important games of the year. This is one thing I've never understood. Is it strictly seniority? How do these guys get approved? How do they get the postseason? Like, I wish they would tell us. And then, oh, by the way, you can be like a better base ump than you can be calling balls and strikes. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's find the best balls and strike guys. You shouldn't just necessarily have to rotate. Let's not treat this like it's a regular season series between the Reds and the Brewers. Like, let's make sure we've got the best people doing it. And once again, maybe Alfonso Marquez is one of the best and just had a bad night. Just like Nathan Eovaldi had a bad night in game one. Like, it can happen for umpires, but let's protect ourselves. If he is one of the best, great. Bad night. If he's not one of the best, then what's he doing there?
Dude, there's like a shroud of secrecy over everything the umpires do. I don't know. I've asked that question to many different umpires before, and yeah, it's a jumbled answer every single time. Well, yeah, you have to get good reports, and then yeah, there's a little bit of seniority, and then there's this and there's that. And it's like, dude, can't we just have the best umpires there? This is what I want: accountability from umpires. I want them to speak after the games. Like if the press wants to speak to an umpire, they should be able to speak to an umpire. They can't go run and hide in their locker room. That's bullshit. Number two, I would like to have salaries made public. We have our salaries made public. Why can't the umpires have their salaries made public? It's all part of the game, right?
Well, how
we know franchise values. We know all these things. Let's go. I just the accountability of the umpires, and how many times we said this on the show, Chris, it's not good.
Yeah. I don't know how putting out their salaries is going to help.
I don't know why. I want it because why do
Oh, I think it's ridiculous that we do know. And I do, I'm part of the problem because I report that so-and-so just agreed to a 6-year, $120 $12 million deal.
That's such an interesting thought process. How would we view players if we didn't know how much they made? Who would we like? Who would we not like? It would change everything.
Totally, it would change everything.
You'd have no idea how much Bryce Harper signed for to go to the Phillies. No clue. You'd assume it's a lot, but you'd have no idea.
Would Albert Pujols' career in Anaheim have been called a success or a failure?
If that would be amazing. But alas, it's not that way. The USA Today puts a massive sheet of your earnings out there, or you can just Google it.
Yeah. Well, these days, yeah. All right. So let's move on to the Christian Walker situation. Leadoff double off the wall in the second. Tommy Pham, who's been Arizona's hottest hitter, hits one to Garcia. Walker running with his head down, runs through the stop sign, gets thrown out at home. Torey Lovullo was asked about exactly what happened and the result.
We should have been better in that situation. Christian Walker owned it. He accepted it. He was accountable for his actions, and I know I will still consider him one of our best instinctual base runners. I think it was just a misread and then trying to make up for it, and he compounded things, and it just didn't go the way we wanted it to. Was it a pivotal moment in the day, in the game? Absolutely. When we talk about making statements, I'm not going to lie, it hurt a little bit, and they turned around on us and scored 3 runs, and that was a big moment. We got flattened there for a couple innings.
Do you appreciate the manager's honesty, or did he tell us too much?
No, it's great. I mean, that's nothing that Christian Walker doesn't know or anybody in that clubhouse doesn't know. So if Torey comes out there and says something different, they're like, why are you even talking like that? It was a mistake. When you're coming around third base like that, you pick up the third base coach, I don't know, about halfway, because he's right in front of you. So you're picking him up. He's in your line of vision. Okay. Then if you want to get your head down a little bit, go ahead, because you're trying to get in there. He understands who has the ball in right field. Adolis has a great arm, so he's trying to get down there. The problem is you got to peek one more time. When you get to third base, you got to kind of have your eyes up. You don't have to necessarily be looking for the base coach. He's going to position himself in front of you where he's supposed to be. He's going to go way down the line, so he can do that. I needed to see where the third base coach was. I'd appreciate if he was a little bit further down the line, I believe. Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can see that. But at some point, you either got to hear your third base coach, which during a playoff game is going to be difficult. He was pretty far down there. He was exactly where he needed to be. Christian Walker just has to pick his head up just one more time to see what's going on there. That's the bottom line. So he knows he made a mistake, and that was huge. An unlucky inning for the D-backs. I mean, you have this happen, then you have the ground ball off Scherzer's arm that ricochets right to Josh Young. It wasn't good. And then the Rangers go ahead and score right after that. So difficult.
That's Tony Perez-Chica, by the way, that is the third base coach for the Diamondbacks. Back to the original question of whether or not Torey's being too honest. I think he's one of the best in baseball at explaining things, and we can feel his emotion. I appreciate his honesty. I mean, how many times have you heard a coach, whether it's or a manager in baseball or a coach in the NFL, get in front of a microphone and a podium, and they just want to go I don't know what the fuck we were doing. But he can't. He doesn't want to air his guys out. I thought the way he said this was perfect. Really did. I mean, we know who was involved in the play. It was Christian Walker. We all presumed that he made a mistake. The manager told us that it was an error and that he owned it. And so the fact that Christian Walker owned it, I thought was a good thing. That's a positive, healthy thing. We all make mistakes. We just don't all make them in Game 3 in the World Series for everybody to see. And so that's a challenging thing. Yeah, man, don't run on Garcia. They might not have to deal with that anymore, but does he now have 23 assists, or did he have 23 during the season? Whatever it is, it's an astronomical number.
I think over the last 2 years, he's led all of baseball in outfield assists.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah.
God, that's good. That really is it. I was listening to Albert Pujols last night on MLB Tonight postgame, and he said something interesting. He said, for us big guys, it's a little bit different. He was always known, Albert, even though he wasn't fast, he was always known as an exceptional base runner. Yes. And I thought his analysis was spot on. He said, when we're trying to get a big break because we're just not as fast. So we do start running with our heads down, right? You're just told to run as hard as you can. He said, I used to tell our third base coaches, whether it was Dino Ebel in Anaheim, and I think it was Jose Oquendo in St. Louis. He said, I wanted them to be verbal with me, not only put your hands up, but say, hey, back, or stop, or whatever it was, whatever the verbal cue was. He said, I needed them to tell me in case I was so intent on trying to get home and running with my head down. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, they're supposed to do that every single time. Did he not do that in the video? I thought he did. It's just the playoffs, you can't hear it.
Yeah, that's possible. And that was one thing I wanted to know was, would you be able to hear it? So.
I mean, it just depends. Shoot, if you're that close and you're screaming, like possibly. Look, here's the thing. Walker got caught up in the moment, dude. He's trying to score.
I know.
He's trying to get the boys on the board, and he's like, I gotta hustle.
Mm-hmm. All right. So a pair of injuries cost Texas 2 of its stars. Max Scherzer obviously couldn't get out for the 4th inning. He had back spasms. We'll know a little bit more today, we believe. Adolis Garcia injured on a swing in the 8th, could not make it out for the rest of the game. His one looks real severe. He was in street clothes and gone before the game was even over, I believe, for testing. And so Bruce Bochy will have a word, but that one does not look good. How much does it cost and shorten this lineup if he's not in there?
I mean, a lot, dude. Like we've been watching every single one of these games in the postseason. See, Rose, we've seen what this guy can do. Even if he has a game where he doesn't get any hits, like the threat of him changes games. It changes pitching plans. It changes everything. It changes the way, they approach the lineup. So it's definitely a huge loss if he's not in. I haven't read anything official yet. As of recording this, they're optimistic, but obviously they're going to say that no matter what. There's no way he's playing tonight, let alone maybe the rest of the series. I mean, if he pulled the oblique, he's out. And there's nothing you can do about it. But, yeah, I mean, it shortens the lineup a lot. You're going to have guys step up. And whether that is – I don't know who they're going to bring on the roster, maybe a Duran or something like that, but it's going to be a Jankowski, Grossman type thing. Maybe you move Evan Carter to right field, put those guys in left field, something like that.
Yeah, so I was thinking about the lineup construction moving forward. And they're going to have to make a call here. This isn't a thing where you could wait a day or two. You don't have time for that because you can't play a roster spot down in the World Series. I mean, I know that, they're thankful by the old rules, their pitcher would have to hit tonight, in which case you would be burning a pinch hitter every time you want to make some sort of change. That would be rough. So they're fortunate with that.
Do you think they try to hold off? I mean, it's 2 days.
Maybe one day.
Games,
I don't think.
Then you have the off day, and then 6 and 7 are there. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if there's any possibility he can play. I feel like they would hold off because the prospect of having him there, you don't empty your bench, every game. So there's a chance they wait. He's that important to the team.
Okay, interesting. I'll buy that. I'll buy that in reverse field. So if he can't go tonight, we don't expect him to. I think they got to stop putting Robbie Grossman third. Let's, that's cute. If you want to try that in July, fine. This is October. Let's play like big boys here. You move Mitch Garver up to the 3 spot behind Seager. You have to protect him with somebody who's a threat.
Only if they plan on having Grossman in and then Carter out.
Carter's not going to be out now. He can't.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean,
no. You can't. You have to play Carter from this point forward because
I hope so. Well,
because then if not, then you're starting Grossman and Jankowski. That makes
if you do that,
sense.
then if they start a lefty, they're going to want to put Carter deeper in the lineup then to avoid him in the first inning if they can.
But I think you've run out of right-handed options because they are so left-handed heavy. Right? It goes Simeon, Seager. Last night it went
Garver.
Garcia was 3.
Yeah, but go Garver.
I would
there.
go Garver. Then you have to go a lefty.
Yeah,
Who else?
You go Carter.
You want to move Josh Young up? I mean, he hasn't been swinging it. He's been down at the bottom of the lineup.
I think you have to put if Carter's going to be in there, great. He has to hit 4th. Then you can't put him 3rd because you want Manspar to face 2 righties in the first 3 batters that he faces.
Totally, that's what you have to do. Yeah, and then you just have to. And Carter has not been very good at all against left-handed pitching. But what it's going to mean is, if there's 2 outs, they're going to pitch around Garver and they're going to say, "Okay, Carter, go hit a lefty." But that's the way you're going to have to live with it.
If his mentality against lefties, like if he knows he's going to be in there, it totally changes things. If you think, hey, I'm going to get pinch hit for, or like I'm not supposed to hit this lefty, I'm a platoon guy. Like, it changes your mentality. If he knows he's going to be in there for the rest of the series against lefties, and there's nobody to go get him, it wouldn't surprise me if this dude got some knocks. That's just how he is.
Can we talk 1 second about Max Scherzer?
Yeah.
First of all, we don't know if the injury was based on the line drive. We just don't. Back spasms. I'm a back spasm guy. I've had a bad back for 10 years, and I can tell you there's some days where it's just spasms. There's some days where something sets it off. I've never had a 98-mile-an-hour line drive off my back, so I can't necessarily speak to that. Are we giving him too much leeway? Like, he doesn't make it through playoff starts anymore. And by the way, if this was Clayton Kershaw, wouldn't the narrative be totally different?
From me, no. From me, I'll still have my take will be, I have to respect this guy. He's given the game so much. I have to assume that he couldn't go, and that was it. Like, I give him the benefit of the doubt because of what he's done in the game. Both those guys.
I know, but what is it with Clayton Kershaw every time? Well, he gets.
I don't know. I don't do
when
that.
Was the hold on.
I don't know.
When was the last time Max Scherzer gave us an amazing postseason performance?
I'm going to mess this up. 2019, probably?
Yeah, it was probably against San Francisco in 2020.
See, I knew you would know. You asked me a question.
But he hasn't been any good so far this year. He was terrible for the Mets last year. Like, okay. So every time Clayton Kershaw gets crushed, we crush him. Not everybody, but a lot of that's the baseball narrative. But we don't even pay attention when Max Scherzer doesn't do well.
He's 39 years old.
I get it, but if you choose to play, then we choose to. He's also getting paid $43 million. Aha, there's your money thing.
He put up a 3.2 in 27 starts. Excuse me, a 3.7, 3.2 WAR in 27 starts. Like he did it. I agree with you.
Right.
I'm looking up his stats.
I'm trying to understand what the difference is. Why does Max Scherzer get a pass and Clayton Kershaw gets shit on?
It's a great question.
Okay. I'm not saying sit here and throw darts at Max Scherzer. I'm saying, what is the difference? And I would love to know what the difference is. If people in our chat can tell me what the hell the difference is between Clayton Kershaw getting his balls kicked in and Max Scherzer having the same sort of results. Because, by the way, Clayton Kershaw has thrown some very good playoff games.
Okay, you're right. It was against the Giants. He saved a game and started the game. He went 8 innings pitched in the NLDS and only gave 1 earned run.
Okay. But, I mean, it's always something. I joked about it yesterday that it always seems to be something with Max Scherzer in the World Series, right? Wake up with a bad neck, this, that, the other thing. He's got a cut up thumb. Now he leaves with back spasms. Once again, I understand it, and I'm not going to give him shit for it. But people love using Clayton Kershaw as a punching bag.
I think as a society, we should stop that. We should, if anybody starts talking bad about Clayton Kershaw, just pull up his baseball reference page and go there.
Well, people don't like to do that. Okay. People are now making excuses for him, saying he's basically been making rehab starts in the postseason. Okay, that's fine. This is the World Series. So are we supposed to judge you because you haven't had time for a rehab start? What are we supposed to do? They haven't been good. Throw an asterisk on there? No, it's either you're ready to go and you want to help the team, or you're not ready to go and you're taking a roster spot. One of the two.
I would also venture out to say, I'm looking now, he's had 10 years of postseason experience, 20 different series. He's got a 3.7. I would assume Clayton Kershaw's is much higher than that, and that's probably why.
I think it is in the 4s.
Let's go check it out. I'm getting there right now. Hey, let me ask you something, C. Rose, before the show ends. Why the heck do you got that hat on? Is that coming up? You never explained.
Oh, no, this is just our Little League hat. I guess I'm going Halloween as a Little League dad. So I'll have my drinking cup, my one of those solo cups.
Nice.
Walking the street.
12 years, 22 series for Clayton Kershaw, 4.49.
Yeah, not good. Not good. All right, game 4. Get your bullpens ready. Heaney and Mantiply, a pair of lefties. Who's got the edge in this one? Which team?
I think it's the Rangers, just because Heaney didn't look good his last time out, but I think the fact that you have Heaney and Dunning and you can kind of like, if you're Bochy, you can see how they look and they have the ability to get stretched a little bit. I think that to me gives them the advantage. If they can get those guys stretched to the bullpen that he likes to use, I think it's pretty even, but I like that better than going the 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 thing with relievers, just because you can have a couple guys have off days and it kind of ruins a little bit of everything. So, and it's a little bit more, there's more decisions and a lot of things happen. Base runners on, these guys aren't holding the runners that well when they come in because the adrenaline's kicking. So I think having the two guys that can give you a little bit of length helps out. And I guess I don't have a good lean either way, to be honest with you. I think they're pretty even, but if I had to, I would say the Rangers just because of the length factor.
Let's start at the beginning here. Joe Mantiply has been their opener before. Andrew Heaney was the opener for the Rangers in Game 4 in Houston. No, he was a starter.
It was bad.
Yeah. I don't know how you wanted to classify him then. He could have been considered a starter.
He's a starter, but it sure seemed like the opener because he didn't get through the first inning.
He didn't get through the first inning. And that's what I worry about here. This could be – we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But when Mantiply was the opener, that was against Philly in Game 4. They ended up using 8 pitchers to cover the 9 innings. And I think they've got a bunch of fresh guys. You know, their A-list guys are still good. Texas is through yesterday, and let's remember now, you are in the middle. This is the meat of the 3-game sandwich in Arizona. You go 3 straight days. So you want to throw Swartz and Chapman and Leclerc out there for 3 straight days? My guess is
yes.
You don't want to, but you might have to. The end of a long season, it's just somebody's not going to be ready. You know how this is how I talk when it comes to openers. Somebody's not going to answer the bell. Right? Even with Arizona, when they threw those 8 pitchers in 9 innings, half of them gave up runs. Half of them.
Yeah.
And they needed a miraculous at-bat by Alec Thomas to save the day, and then they win it. So we'll see. I think tonight there's going to be a lot of runs scored.
So did you pick a side? Because that's you always tell me.
I think Arizona. I think Arizona has the edge in this one. I'm worried about Texas. I think Arizona has more dependable guys in the middle. I know that Texas could go with Dunning. And obviously, Heaney's got to give him like 2 innings. Has to. You can't go 2/3 of an inning. And then
I feel like it's one or the other with him.
Yeah, I know.
You're either going to get 2/3 of an inning or you're going to get 3 innings.
Yep. All right. Halloween. Always like those. We found a few costumes on social media. These kids win the day going dressed as Topps baseball cards. The kid who's dressed as Jonathan India.
Pretty good.
That is great. That is so good. God almighty.
We did this for my D-backs team. This was awesome. I love this idea.
Did?
Yeah. On opening day, we had them all make cards like this. They had so much fun with it. You know, you kind of like learn a little bit about the game. Love it. Shout out Jonathan India, who just announced that him and his wife, I believe, are having a baby.
Yes. I don't know if they're married, but yeah, they're together. They've been together forever. That's awesome. Yeah, good for them. The kid that goes dressed as Wade Boggs is amazing.
He's drunk.
It's even better.
Oh, he's got
to be holding like a 6-pack. Has to be. We don't condone underage drinking, but it would just be funny for the Halloween. Just for the Halloween.
Don't you know who Wade Boggs is?
For goodness sakes. Oh, I've got some good Wade Boggs. All right. Have fun tonight. Trick-or-treating with Teddy and Isla. Are they super excited?
They are. Teddy is going as a Grim Reaper overlord, and Isla is a cop.
Aw.
So don't mess around.
No. Okay. I like that. My kids just go to Halloween parties now, and you just pray everything's okay. Please.
You and I love Halloween, C. Rosie. We love
I used to get dressed up all the time. Now tonight, Michelle, I think, is pretty much doing this on her own. I was like, it's game 4 of the World Series. Sorry. Last year, Browns and Bengals were playing on Monday Night Football during Halloween. So I was like, I'm out. Sorry.
That's funny.
All right, we're back at it again tomorrow. We cannot wait for our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Wednesday on Baseball Today.